Welcome back. You're listening to Get Real with Bob and Stacy. You're joining us for our Leaders and Legends segment. Our guest today is Mark Ferguson, realtor, author, and entrepreneur. Welcome to the show, Mark.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm happy to be on.
So Mark is a real estate professional, runs a real estate team in Colorado, but is also a property flipper. He has a website called Invest for More. It's FOUR, investformore.com. His real estate team sells hundreds of homes a year. He's flipped over 120 houses, owns 16 plus rental properties. He's written 5 books. Investformore.com is a real estate blog with over 300,000 views a month and over 20,000 subscribers for all kinds of free information, including his podcast. Mark created Invest for More in March 2013 to show investors how to invest in rental properties. The blog became popular very quickly, and he expanded the topics he wrote about to include flipping houses and becoming a real estate agent. While Mark loves to write and help others invest, he still actively invests and shares his journey through his articles. He's been investing since 2001 and has also been an agent since 2001. So he has seen the ups and downs of the real estate industry and has survived the housing crisis thanks to his solid investing strategies. There are many real estate gurus in the online space who talk about buying with no money down, buying with no credit, and making easy money in real estate. These programs and gurus are more interested in taking easy money from consumers than they are teaching people real usable strategies in real estate. So, Mark, you're already very busy. Right when you started your career as an investor, you're already super busy just flipping properties. Like, that's a full-time job in and of itself, not to mention being a real estate agent, etc. Why did you want to go out and offer so much free information to other people?
It was kind of just something that randomly happened. So at the time, I was a very active agent selling HUDs and REO properties, which are bank foreclosures, and I was investing in rental properties, flipping houses as well. And my friend actually just said, why don't you start telling people how you do stuff and sharing it? I'd never written a blog. I didn't even have any idea how to blog. And he set up a WordPress site for me, and I just started writing articles. And they weren't very good in the beginning, grammar-wise or spelling, but people liked it. And once people said, wow, you helped me, I was like, man, that felt really good to hear someone tell me that I helped them. And I just kept writing and writing after that.
So can you buy, only because we talk about it in your bio, saying this isn't like a get-rich scheme. Is it even possible to buy a flip with no money down?
I mean, it's possible. Anything is possible, I like to say, but it's not easy. If you don't have any money, the best way to do it is to find a partner who does. And if you are trying to find a partner, you're going to have to prove to them that you have some knowledge, something to bring to the table. So it's going to take a lot of work if you don't have any money.
Yeah, a lot of
those
get-rich-quick schemes all say, we'll show you how to buy as many properties as you want, no money down. But those of us in finance realize that it's just not possible to do it. I mean, there is no loan for no money down investment properties.
Somebody's got to put some money down.
Yeah, somebody's got to put it up, unless you want somebody else to front the money and they're taking 3/4 of your profit from it.
Right, exactly, yeah. And there's a thing called wholesaling where it's possible to sell houses, but you're not really selling the house, you're selling a contract, and that gets kind of iffy and tricky, especially, even legality-wise in a few states. So there's a lot of shady stuff going on out there.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how much of your time do you invest right now into finding new deals?
I would say 20% of my time is finding new deals. So maybe, 4 or 5 hours a week. I've set it up pretty well where I don't have to work constantly. I'm not working 80 hours a week. I have, 5-year-old twins that I try and spend as much time as I can with.
Okay. And then as far as finding and cultivating deals, so we're in Boston, Massachusetts, and when I'm driving along on the streets, I constantly see these signs like, we'll buy your house for cash, uglyhouses.com, like things like that, in order to attract people that want to sell quickly for cash. Is that how you're finding deals, or are you going into the multiple listing service and just looking at all the properties?
90% of my deals are bought through the MLS, the multiple listing service. So I see those signs all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I do not use those signs.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we might send letters to very specific people,
Yes.
Maybe vacant houses or country properties we've been looking to buy.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, being an agent and this being my full-time job gives me a huge advantage buying from the MLS.
Okay, so is that why you're such an advocate for somebody that's looking to be an investor of real estate to also have a real estate license?
Yes, exactly. I calculated in 2013, so it's been a few years ago. It saved me about $70,000 in commissions
Mm-hmm.
by being an agent, and that doesn't even count all the deals I get because I'm an agent.
Right.
It's hard to calculate, but I'm sure three-quarters of the properties I buy
Mm-hmm.
are probably because I'm an agent. I know how to write offers. I know how to act
Right.
fast and get the seller to agree to our terms.
Interesting. So for somebody that's listening in today, somebody that's interested in flipping real estate, and let's just say they're not an agent, do you have any advice for that person on how to find a good agent? Because it's a really niche business. How do they go out and find a good agent that understands flips, understands that the good ones that come on the market are going to be off market within 24 hours? How do they interview somebody for that?
The first thing they should realize is they're not going to be able to just go out, find an agent, and that agent's going to find them a flip they're going to make $30,000 on with no work.
Mm-hmm.
Most
Right.
of those agents that know how to do that are already going to have an investor network,
Mm-hmm.
or they're going to be doing it themselves.
Right.
So the best advice I can have is learn the business yourself, what good deals are, learn your market, be able to tell an agent what kind of deal you want, what you're looking for exactly. And then when you're looking for an agent, they don't have to be the busiest or most experienced person. They need to be someone who has time and can act really fast. So, sometimes a newer agent can be better because they're hungry. They don't have a lot of clients they're working for.
Mm-hmm.
They can show you a house in an hour or two and write an offer that same day. Where the agent who's got, 40 listings might take 2 days to show you a house, and by that time the house is gone.
Interesting. But you make a great point that if you want to be an investor, you really need to understand the market. Whether you're a real estate agent or not, you need to be able to go out and seek out deals and know what you can flip it for.
Exactly. And there's a lot of agents out there, and I would say 90% of them or more don't know what a good flip is, don't know what a good rental is. And if you're simply listening to them, that could get you in trouble as well. So you really need to know the business yourself.
That's interesting. So one of the things that I wonder if you have a challenge with this is it seems like when the market is hot or we're in a good economy, that it's really difficult to find great contractors. How do you vet out the people that are going to do the work on your place?
No, that's a great point, and it's very true. When the market gets hot like this and prices go up, all of a sudden people can refinance their homes. They have money. They're finishing their basements.
Mm-hmm.
And contractors love to work for, the homeowner who doesn't know what they're doing because they can charge more. And so we are constantly searching for new contractors. Word of mouth is one of the best ways we find them, just talking to other agents, people we know. But we've used Craigslist. We've used Thumbtack, Home Advisors. We've gone to Home Depot and talked to the pro desk at Home Depot if they know of any contractors. There's many ways to find them, and vetting them is the most important. So we'll always talk to them on the phone first. If they sound okay on the phone, we'll go meet them at a house, have them give us a bid. I would say 3/4 of the contractors we meet will never give us a bid. They just, I don't know what it is, but they won't even take the time to do that, so that knocks out quite a few.
Interesting.
And then, once you get that bid, you can kind of see the prices, what they're charging, and that knocks out quite a few others because you'll see ranges from, some will charge $40 an hour, some will charge $100 an hour for labor and repairs.
It's so interesting. I got into real estate in the early 90s by flipping real estate. I happened to work at a mortgage company, and back then, the 203K rehab program was available for investors. So that's how I paid my way through college. I basically flipped like 20 plus houses throughout between the ages of 19 and 25 and paid my way through getting a degree. And the biggest challenge I had was finding good contractors, because it seemed like either you had people that came in low on price, but just because they give you a low bid doesn't mean that's what you're actually going to pay. And sometimes they were much more expensive than the high bid that you originally got, or they didn't show up. So they'd say, all right, we're going to have it. We'll be here with our crew on Monday, and they don't show up, which causes delays, which means it's harder to get the property on the market, etc. So that was the biggest challenge I had going through it, was just finding great talent. But the good thing is, if you're doing a lot of flips like you are, you can over time build your team so that you come first for those contractors.
Right. And I've actually have someone on my team, Nikki, who's basically her only job right now is managing contractors, being at properties, buying supplies, managing subs for us, because it's, I have 12 flips going right now. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot of different things to manage. And yeah, they can get out of control very easily if you're not on top of things. And we've tried to build a business so that we can hire as many subs as we can, so that one contractor is not doing everything. Mm-hmm. And that's really helped out. We try to buy all the materials ourselves. Mm-hmm. That speeds up the process.
So let's talk about your real estate team. Are the members of your team also buying and flipping properties?
I have one member on my team who has flipped a couple houses. Mm-hmm. He actually, we've sold him flips before and listed the properties for him. He was in the oil industry, and he decided he wanted to get out and joined our team this summer. Mm-hmm. And then Justin, my team manager, has bought a couple rentals, but he's never flipped a house. Mm-hmm. And then the rest of them pretty much just have their own personal house.
Gotcha. Okay. And when you are looking at properties, so first of all, is there any place that people might not think of for finding a potential flip? For example, you mentioned that you'll send a letter if you see a vacant property. What other types of places should a potential investor look at?
Obviously, the MLS, I think, is a great spot. But yeah, like you said, one of the best ways people get started, and I've interviewed many different flippers, is what's called driving for dollars, and that's driving around neighborhoods looking for vacant houses or dilapidated properties, and once you find one, send them a letter, go knock on the door, try and talk to the owner, and see if they want to sell it, because many times those are the properties that, for whatever reason, if they're not being taken care of or they're vacant, the sellers are more motivated. So that's one way. Networking, being an agent, that helps as well, because I can network with other agents. Right. I've built my reputation where they know I'm going to buy a house, I'm going to do what I say when I write a contract. So I'll even have agents come to me and say, hey, I have this really tough house to sell, needs a ton of work, are you interested in buying it? And that's an awesome way. You can do the bandit signs, that's what they call those signs on the side of the street. Yep. And I know some people have success. I'm not so much into that part of it, but some people do it. And then auctions, whether it's a local foreclosure sale auction, where I bought a house a couple weeks ago at that sale, or some of the REO auctions. Hubzu is a good site for properties, auction.com. There's a few out there where those houses aren't on MLS, and you can get a pretty decent deal at the auction.
That's awesome. Tell us about your podcast. What kind of people are you interviewing? How many podcasts have you done so far?
I just published my 65th podcast this week. Wow. So, I do one every week, and I interview, successful investors, successful agents. Once in a while, I'll interview a newer investor just to kind of show where they're at, what challenges they have, and I'll try to help them through those challenges. And I'll interview professionals like lenders, inspectors, all types of different people. And then I'll do a few podcasts myself where I just talk about my investing, what I'm doing, my team. I had one a few weeks ago where I talked about a flip they were working on that I bought for $500,000, and we're hoping to sell that one for $850. So that's an interesting story on that one.
Now, what kind of a house are you getting out in the Colorado area for that price?
That's in Longmont, which is pretty close to Boulder, so it's kind of a different market than where I'm at. But that's a 6,000 square foot, 3-car garage on a quarter acre, built probably 10 years ago.
And was it in rough shape? Is that why you got it so cheap?
No, it was actually occupied by a tenant who had a 10-year lease on the property, and the bank had sued her twice to evict her and lost. And so I had to deal with her and get her out, and that's why it was such a good deal.
Oh.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it was very interesting.
Can
But
you
we got vacant. It should be going on the market next week.
So you
That's
ended up
great.
getting the person out.
Yes.
Okay.
We did a cash for keys where we paid her to end her lease early.
Wow. That's awesome. So there's all different opportunities if people listen to your podcast and learn about different ways to seek out opportunities to find great investments. Tell us about, I heard, or I actually saw it on your website. I was checking it out. You have a beautiful blue Lamborghini, which somehow you're the only person in the world I know that has a car that is appreciated in value. You must have a golden touch. So tell us about your Lamborghini.
Yeah, so I loved cars my entire life. When I was a kid, one of my dreams was just to own an exotic car at some point. Mm-hmm. And I kind of went to college and got to the corporate mindset in business school and lost that dream because they just teach us to work for 40 years and retire. But I got back into the real estate world, started doing a little better, and I made a goal in 2013 that I was going to buy that car in the next 2 years, and I ended up buying it way sooner than I ever thought. It's a really good deal. Blue is my favorite color, and there might be 20 of those cars in that color in the world. Mm-hmm. So I could not pass it up. And there are ways to make money on cars. Mm-hmm. They kind of have a depreciation curve where when you buy one new, you're paying $400,000. They'll drop to $100,000 or sometimes less in 7 to 10 years. Mm-hmm. But if you buy the right car, they're going to start going back up in value after those 10 years.
Awesome. Well, we have on the line Mark Ferguson. Anybody listening in who wants more, I know I'm going to go check out your podcast. You can go check him out at Invest for More, FOUR, investformore.com. Learn about Mark, download all his free information, and sign up for his weekly podcast. Thanks for joining us today, Mark.
Oh, no, thank you so much. I had a lot of fun, and I'm happy to help.
Thank
Great.
you.
Thanks, Mark. That's going to do it for this edition of Get Real with Bob and Stacy. Join us again next weekend for more.